your relationship with Robin?
Yeah, I was definitely.
Why?
Yeah,
you love her.
Yeah, but I wanted to punish myself.
Hey, lovely viewers. Welcome to my shocking news channel. I will explain everything. Watch this video until end. Sister Wives star Kody Brown recently sold the Brown family's Coyote Pass land for a whopping $1.5 million. And before he did that, he decided to give his ex-wives Janelle and Meri Brown bigger shares of the Arizona land, which meant that each received $305,000. In other words, he basically gave away $610,000. When he made that sacrifice, Kody seemed like the perfect gentleman. The thing is, Kody might have felt intense pressure to relinquish his 97% ownership of the land. As a PR move, his conduct was superlative. He seemed to honor and respect the wives who left him, with whom he shares children. However, it's possible that he grudgingly gave them bigger portions.
Kody has always made it a point to be part of his kids' lives, especially when they're younger. I think it's easy for him to forget that he should still nurture relationships with his adult children as well.
Kody used to insult the long-suffering women who watched him fall deeply in love with another woman. He derisively described them as entitled princesses. That rude remark is just the tip of the iceberg, and Janelle, Meri, and Christine Brown are good women. They waited decades before bailing out. They were really trying to make things work. In return, they were accused of parental alienation after their splits. So, how does a man who does that turn into a Disney prince, bestowing favors on a hard-up Cinderella Janelle and the always overlooked Meri? Possibly he didn't change at all. Kody seemed to resent the women who'd gone through so much of his life journey with him, and then left him only because he loved someone else. On the surface of things, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Kody pushed them away and then seemed to complain about them. How is that logical? However, he has his own take on.
And in the end, it should have been just like, we need to have a conversation, not that you guys owe me an apology. You know, and anybody who is adult making their own choices had to make their choices. They're free to do that, but I had to be able to protect the babies.
And his belief is that these women punished him for falling in love with Robin. There may be a grain of truth to this. They were jealous they saw that it was different for Kody and Robin. They knew it would never be the same. Back in the old days, the plural marriage seemed less dysfunctional. It was often centered around the children, which made it seem sweet, homespun, and emotionally satisfying. The kids got love from an array of moms, and the family's patriarch loved them too. They did fun activities as a group and lived together. However, the days of sledding and pumpkin carving weren't fated to last. The bad blood bubbling up from underneath began to poison the dynamic, hurting Kody, the women, and the children. Human nature always rears its head. It can't be kept down. While women in polygamy are conditioned to accept a state of silent suffering when they feel very human emotions like jealousy and anger, after decades, it was impossible for the women.
I've always worked hard for plural marriage. And just because we got here and I got a little bit cynical doesn't mean that I don't want plural marriage anymore. But what has Janelle done to help it?
It was impossible for the women to really repress all of those feelings. As per Mormonism Research Ministry, sacred loneliness is about women enduring solitude while in plural marriage. Even now that Robin is in a monogamous relationship, she and Kody are fighting. As seen in the clip above, it quotes hard enough to make it work with one person, much less 4 people. Kody gets all the blame, but imagine how hard it would be. Whatever goes wrong is going to be considered his fault. That creates so much pressure. He's the family's leader, and falling in love with Robin wasn't his fault. The family has been through the ringer, including Kody. He gets the villain edit every single time. People don't really give him a fair hearing, but he has feelings too. Christine felt unloved, longing for passion her husband couldn't provide. Christine found it with David Woolley.
It feels like it's easy for you to be at Robin's house and that you don't want to be anywhere else.
But I was always at your house, too. I was always at your house.
Who's now her husband. Janelle had the same desires, wanting a real husband, at least some of the time. Meri, cast out after an unfortunate catfishing scandal, was lowest on the totem pole, unable to get Kody's friendship, much less his ardor. It was a mess, a truly emotionally damaging situation that left 3 wives feeling like satellites orbiting around Kody and Robin, who were on their own planet. In their world, there was a core family, Robin, Kody, and their children. Everything else seemed to come second. During the pandemic, the pressures on the family reached critical mass. It was just impossible for the Browns to live as they had before, with Kody visiting his non-Robin wives. He was too afraid of contracting the COVID-19 virus. So, the chasm between the core family and the others grew. Quote, "It's easy to be glib about reality stars, but after decades..."
I mean, I just see I'm getting close to the line now and he's starting to get agitated because the way I see things is very different than the way he sees things.
This all came about because I felt like I wasn't being supported in what I was doing for the whole family. Does that make more sense?
The love, time, and energy that Janelle, Meri, and Christine poured into the family was significant, and that meant significant pain when things ended. They had swallowed their pride 1,000,000 times trying to make a man who was in love with someone else pay attention to them. That is degrading. However, all believed in plural marriage and had to re-examine their beliefs in order to free their minds. Above, Janelle focuses on what's working, rather than Kody, definitely moving in the right direction. As people get older, they change, and that's a factor here too. The fighting gets tiresome. Everyone wants peace and happiness. They say that in midlife, a new attitude about ego emerges, and a person is just different. They see the big picture and want to use the time they have left to get along with others and really enjoy their lives. There's less focus on things that used to be important, but no longer are.
There's a lot of assumption and judgment there. So that's the kind of place where we need a counselor.
I mean, it doesn't matter as much now, but at the time I felt like I was being gaslit, manipulated, and lied to.
In a sense, the midlife crisis and its aftermath also destroyed the Brown family. In midlife crisis, the person lashes out, longing for youth that is gone. They may regress a bit. When that ends, there's a period when a person starts looking at their life with a pitiless lens, under very harsh light. They think about what they want for the future. Do they really need to hold on to the same values? All the Brown parents, Kody, Janelle, Robin, and Christine, are older now and wiser. They have lived and lost. They've fought so many battles. The war over Coyote Pass is now over. Garrison Brown has died. These life events have shaped everyone, changing them from the inside out. And so people are going their own ways, or trying to. Each part of the fractured Brown family is on a journey. The journeys are no longer...
Well, I think she's pointing her finger at like some kind of favoritism towards Solomon and Ariella, which is the same favoritism I always gave to any of the little kids, starting from Logan all the way through.
The same. Kody may not have sold Coyote Pass because he wanted to please his exes and make their lives easier. He may have done it because they threatened to take him to court. However, it wasn't really wrong of those women to believe that they deserved more than the pittance that they would have gotten had he retained his full 97% ownership. They paid into the family, too. Kody may have awakened to this, to the inherent unfairness of him owning so much, while they owned so little, when he was the one controlling the money. All of this is quite sticky morally. Yes, he used his money to buy the lion's share, but then again, his wives couldn't freely spend the family money. As the man of the house, Kody made the decisions. This is where the issue of fairness comes in. Now, except for the fact that Christine didn't get a share, fairness is restored. But that doesn't mean that...
He's saying that he's willing to keep acting when he clearly hasn't been for 8 or 10 years. And also, I wouldn't want him to do that. I've wanted to heal our relationship and even create a new relationship, but I've never insisted on it.
The Sister Wives star Kody is at peace with his relationships with his exes. In fact, there's probably more drama to come. So Sister Wives, Season 19 star Kody Brown had a tumultuous relationship with many of his children. There are signs the family could be healing. It's sad to think about how far the Brown family has fallen over the years. When the beloved unscripted series premiered in 2010, they seemed like such a happy bunch. They presented an image of a functional polygamous family instead of what is often depicted on film and television. Back then, the Browns all lived under the same roof, in a multiplex in Utah, and they seemed happy. By the time Sister Wives season 19 aired, everything had changed for Kody and his family. At his peak, Kody had 4 wives and 18 children. Starting in 2021, 3 of Kody's 4 wives have walked away from the marriage and the plural family.
Going, I don't love you. I'm in love with another woman. I'm in love with a woman that I left because I was too much a piece of to manage the relationship. And what it was is just anger and embarrassed. So you get embarrassed and then you get self-deprecating. It's like just bad behavior.
Not only did Kody find himself in a monogamous marriage with his 4th wife, Robyn Brown, but many of his older children were barely speaking to him. Though Kody has stubbornly refused to make amends with his children over the last few years, he recently took a big step in starting the healing process. When audiences met the Brown family in 2010, they were living different lives. They lived in a large complex in Utah that was built by a polygamist, with polygamists in mind. The large home had multiple apartments where each wife could run her household with her children. Kody would travel from family to family, but he got to see all of his children every day. Everything changed after the Browns left Utah and moved into multiple homes. They'd never live under the same roof again. Once they lived in multiple homes, Kody stopped seeing all of his children every day. Over time, the homes got farther apart, so the family got together less often.
But I don't feel like my obligation is the same to them.
Okay, we're just going to go the rounds again here, I think.
But you never validated my position.
And you're not listening
forced
to me
into
either.
At one point, the Browns took over multiple homes on a cul-de-sac, which seemed like the perfect setup. But the arrangement didn't last. The Browns moved around a lot, and every season of Sister Wives seemed to find them in multiple new homes. At different points, Sister Wives was filmed in Utah, Arizona, and even Las Vegas. The Sister Wives stars eventually bought a large plot of land in Arizona that they intended to develop. The idea that each wife would build a home, and eventually their children could someday build their own homes. It was a beautiful idea, but it never became a reality. The Browns fell apart long before they could ever build on the land at Coyote Pass. After many years of sitting there undeveloped, the Browns' Arizona land recently sold at a large profit. In 2010, Kody married Robyn and added her and her 3 children from her first marriage to the mix. The couple would go on to have 2 of their children.
Not deciding that this is over. This is me saying, Meri, what you want
Is never going to happen.
doesn't work.
The new wing of the family changed the overall dynamic of the group. With so many more children needing Kody's attention, the Sister Wives season 19 patriarch had less and less time for his older children. This led to an enormous amount of resentment. It all came to a head when the COVID-19 pandemic swept the globe in 2020. When several of his older children couldn't follow his viral mitigation rules, Kody refused to see them on Thanksgiving and Christmas. The Brown family was already in trouble when COVID-19 came along. The pandemic exposed existing rifts. Different households had varying opinions on risk tolerance, and Kody was the most risk-averse, so he would go for long periods without seeing his older children. The issue came between Kody and several of his sons, whom he accused of not being cautious enough. He even skipped Ysabel Brown.
Christine just said, I'm gone, I'm done. And she might not have been wrong, but I was upset because there was no negotiation. It was just all one-sided. I'm not trying to do that, Meri. I'm trying to be fair.
Brown's scoliosis surgery because he was too afraid to travel. When the holidays came around, Kody and Robyn refused to see family members unless they followed strict COVID rules, which included wiping down groceries, changing clothes when entering the house, and leaving mail outside for 24 hours. When several of his older children couldn't follow his viral mitigation rules, Kody refused to see them on Thanksgiving and Christmas. The pandemic led to the family splitting up during the holidays for the first time. It was the beginning of the end for the Browns. COVID triggered Kody's 3rd wife, Paedon Brown, to walk away. She'd been unhappy, but once Kody and Robyn refused to see his other wives, Christine realized she'd be better off leaving. They'd been married for 27 years and had 6 children together. Kody's second wife, Janelle Brown, left him a year later after 29 years of marriage and 6 children. Kody's first wife.
Whatever. I don't know. I can fake through this. I don't want to. But if you're going to insist, then we will. And she's like, I don't want that.
Meri Brown was the last to walk away. She left in 2022 after 32 years of marriage and 1 child. During a recent episode of Sister Wives Season 19, Kody revealed that he recently got together with Christine's children in Utah. Other than Mykelti Brown, Kody hasn't stayed in touch with all his other children. Kody said 2 of his sons from another mother were there. This could mean Janelle's sons, Logan Brown, Hunter Brown, or Gabriel Brown. After losing contact with many of his children, it's great that Kody is finally starting to make amends. Hey, Sister Wives fans. There's a lot of talk this week about the way Janelle Brown handled the topic of Kody Brown on the episode about Garrison Brown's suicide. Viewers were impressed by how Janelle addressed Kody's estrangement from his grown kids. As we saw Kody's strained relationship with Garrison,
I am willing to fake being in love with Meri, doing my duties as a husband, sort of putting up with things that frustrate me so deeply that I struggle to be around her.
Weighed heavily on him. Sister Wives, Janelle Brown shows compassion. The latest Sister Wives episode showcased Janelle Brown's incredible strength and compassion during one of the toughest episodes from this show that we've ever seen. As the tragic events with Garrison Brown unfolded, Janelle never pointed fingers at Kody Brown or condemned him for his estrangement from Garrison. Instead, Janelle focused on Garrison's last days and how she and his siblings tried to help her son before he tragically took his own life. In comparison, it was obvious that Kody struggled with guilt during this latest Sister Wives episode, as so many people do after the suicide of a loved one. Kody's comments were very different from Janelle's. When talking to Robin, we saw Kody try to explain some of his own behavior with his kids, including Garrison. During this heartbreaking
This agreement that I gave you, our sacred covenant, was if I'm ever not in love with you, I won't just sit there and be in a pathetic place with you. You made me promise you that.
Wives episode, Kody told Robin that he never meant things to turn out like this, and Kody thought he'd have plenty of time to make things right with Garrison. And the fact that he never got to mend fences still haunts Kody. Meanwhile, Janelle's focus in the aftermath of Garrison's death was on her other children, especially Gabriel Brown, who found Garrison dead and made the heartbreaking call to Janelle. We also learned on this episode how Maddie Brown Brush and her husband, Caleb Brush, became a much-needed support system for Janelle. And it turns out, Maddie and Caleb were also trying to help Garrison in the days before his death. Maddie looked into the Sister Wives camera and said that she and Caleb almost got Garrison to come to them in North Carolina. Maddie wanted Garrison to move there, but then time ran out. Sister Wives, Janelle talks about Garrison's struggle. Kody talks about his own struggle. Janelle and her kids all...
Christine's leaving, and I'm just angry. So a lot of dark winds were going through me, a lot of devil, a lot of temptation, which would be destructive of my relationship with Robin. So I dealt with a lot of anger, and she would get frustrated. My anger was a turnoff. It was scary. And the dumb thing is, because I'm so honest, I just
knew Garrison was struggling, and Janelle rallied his brothers and sisters to be a support system for Garrison before that awful day. Not only did Janelle text Garrison several times a day, but so did his Sister Wives siblings like Gabe, Maddie, and Logan Brown. Then when it came to Kody, viewers could see that he struggled to talk about Garrison's death. Kody seemed to struggle to find the words to say. He told Robin that he bombards himself with so many what-ifs. Like what if he had spent more time with Garrison? However, Kody also told Robin others told him not to fall prey to that what-if type of thinking. But Kody said to Robin on the latest Sister Wives episode that he will continue to do it, as it is part of his grieving process for him. But most of all, it keeps a connection going for him with Garrison. Janelle kept negativity at bay. Janelle Brown said in past Sister Wives episodes how heartbroken and angry her kids were over Kody's lack of contact and how he just stepped out of their lives. So Janelle's very sadly aware of what Kody wrestles with today because he'd fallen out of touch with Garrison before he died. But Janelle didn't use this against Kody as they individually work through their grief over losing Garrison. This makes many Sister Wives viewers applaud Janelle for not adding to Kody's grief. Many fans chimed in to agree with how Janelle handled it, saying, no matter how awful Kody might have been to his kids in the past, it is not appropriate to blame his estrangement with Garrison for what happened. Sister Wives, no need to add to Kody's grief. Sister Wives viewers watched in shock as Meri Brown found out about Garrison's death live on camera while filming a confessional segment. Kody called to personally deliver the news to Meri, and she just happened to be taping. As she listened to Kody's call, you could see deep pain and sadness immediately on Meri's face. Sister Wives fans noticed Christine and Meri's visceral reaction to the horrific news of Garrison's suicide. It reminded fans of the closeness Meri and Christine felt to all the children in the family. So, Robyn came into the family about 15 years into Kody's plural marriage. She was not there for the childhoods of the older kids, including Garrison. So some of the kids never really embraced Robyn as one of the shared moms. Who is Robyn Brown to Kody's kids? Sister Wives fans debated on social media whether if Kody also doesn't see Robyn as a mum to his older kids either, although Kody pushed Robyn as another mother figure in the early years. This brings us to what else he said in the episode about Garrison's death. Kody told Robyn, "I want to bring my boy home," when talking about where they should bury Garrison. Home to Kody is Wyoming. He wanted to lay Garrison to rest with Grandma Cheryl, who, if you don't recall, is Janelle's mom. But fans caught that Kody didn't say "our boy" when talking to Robyn. By the Sister Wives patriarch saying "my" instead of "our boy," it seems to show he does not consider Robyn one of Garrison's mothers like Meri, Christine, and Janelle. Sister Wives, Robyn Kody, act differently than his 3 ex-wives. Sister Wives viewers noticed that Robyn was entirely focused on consoling Kody. Meanwhile, Meri and Christine reacted very much like Janelle, Garrison's biological mom. Meri instantly ran to Kody's house once she found out Garrison took his life to comfort Gwendlyn. Then Meri also reached out to Janelle to be by her side at this dark time. Their co-parent instincts kicked in while Robyn reacted as a wife. But again, what Sister Wives viewers seemed to notice most of all was Janelle's grace after losing Garrison. Despite Kody's estrangement from Garrison at the time of his death, Janelle never blamed Kody. There are some viewers out there commenting on social media, blaming Kody for Garrison's troubles. During the pandemic and beyond, Kody was harsh towards his sons on Sister Wives. But Janelle isn't laying into him, and if she has any negative thoughts about how Kody's rejection might have affected their son, she's not said so on camera or on social media. This was a difficult episode to watch and a low point for the Brown family. What they've gone through losing Garrison is unimaginable. Thanks for watching this video. What do you think about this video? Told on comment box and subscribe our channel. Yesen.